"You're one strange dude," Sam said, looking at the creepy smile on the face of his companion. "Well, you're right about that. With the reputation he already has in the game, I won't be surprised if he's treated like a king at his school," Sam replied. However, both of them were unaware of how truly wrong they were, because the school still did not know of Quinn's true strength, since he was still treated like level 1. The two of them soon went to sleep, ending their eventful day. When the morning arrived, they began to do their normal routine. After eating breakfast, it was time for them to head to their homeroom class. As they entered the room, they felt the strange atmosphere that was hovering in the air. For one, the homeroom teacher hadn't arrived yet, and usually the homeroom teacher would be there to welcome their arrival. The second thing that stood out was that the number of students that were gossiping away increased, and it seemed like the boys were far more excited about the topic of interest than the girls. As he sat on his seat, with Sam next to him, he turned towards his companion. "What's going on?" Nate asked. "How the hell am I supposed to know? You and I came inside the room at the same time. I've been with you since yesterday, you big..." Sam replied. As they both listened carefully to the students who were engaged in their conversations, they managed to catch a few words. They eventually found out what all the commotion was about. "Hey, did you see her?" "What, that new teacher?" "Yeah, she's so beautiful." "I wonder how strong she is. Aren't all military tutors quite strong?" "Most, but not all of them. She might just have a unique ability or was very knowledgeable in a club subject." "Well, whatever class she's going to teach, I'm going to sign up for every one of them." It was clear from their dialogues that a new teacher was coming to school, and not just any teacher, but a true beauty at that. After hearing this news, Nate started to straighten his clothes and made sure that his hair was neatly tucked and sat up straight. "What the hell are you doing?" Sam said. "Do you think you're going to get on with a teacher? You haven't even managed to get together with any of the 20 girls you've confessed to since you came here. It will never happen with that big blockhead of yours." The vein on the side of Nate's head was now bulging, and his eyebrows were twitching. He slowly turned his head, inch by inch, while holding in his anger. "Hey, Sam, when was the last time that you and I had a sparring match? It's been a while, hasn't it? And I'm not talking about the game. I think it's better for both of us if we do it in person. It's going to be much more realistic, and you can feel every bit of pain," Nate replied, making sure to say the last words carefully to hammer them in Sam's head. All of a sudden, the sound of the classroom door sliding was heard. In an instant, as the presence entered the room had a pin-drop silence, enabling them to truly appreciate what was coming into the room. Her skin was as white as the pure specks of snow. Although her features looked soft, no expression was plastered on her countenance. Still, the thing that stood out the most about her was her silver hair. She was wearing the black standard military uniform that they all had to wear. Sporting hair, colored with the brilliance of silver jewelry and tied up with a single ponytail, with a length that managed to reach down to her waist, the professor sauntered to the center of the room. "Hello, students. My name is Silver, and I will be your new homeroom teacher from now on." As she spoke, the expression on her face remained stiff and didn't seem to change one bit. Yet, the boys seemed to only find this feature of her even more attractive. "An angel," Nate said. "A true angel has descended among us mortals." "Oh no," Sam said while shaking his head. "What the hell happened to the boys these days?" Silver started to scan the entirety of the gathering, looking at the students one by one, but it merely reminded her that she might have to stay in the school for a while. "As the file said, it appears that Fex isn't here." Silver had been tasked with the mission of finding and bringing Fex back to his family. However, with their family connections, the most they could do was get her a position as a teacher on one of the military bases. All she could do was rely on luck to see if she would be put at the same military base as Fex. Although to her dismay, it appeared like she wasn't as lucky. While Fex was in Military Base 2, she had been transferred to work at Military Base 6. Without saying anything, she started to walk around the room and gaze at the faces of the students more closely. As she talked to one of the students, even the females had to recognize her ephemeral beauty and started to blush. She continued to stroll around. Finally, she stopped in front of Nate and scrutinized his visage. "Looks like this is going to be my day," Nate cheeringly told himself. She looked at him closer and said, "Why are you so interested in such ugly things?" Although Silver had no idea, she had said these words out loud. The whole room wanted to laugh, yet they did their best to hold it in out of respect for Nate. He wasn't like the other high-level users. He treated everyone in his classroom fairly, even though he was known as the strongest. As Silver walked off and headed back to the front of the class, she had one thought in her mind. "Vex and I will complete my mission and bring you back, even if I have to hurt you, dear brother." It was an early morning for the students at Military Base 2, and although it wasn't time for the students to have breakfast yet, someone or the other could be found roaming around. "Okay, just got to make sure I have everything," Layla said as she slowly breathed in and out. In her hand, she held a white envelope. While holding it, a pair of used disposable gloves. She had repeated these steps multiple times in her head and had done everything so the note couldn't be traced back to her. She felt around the envelope, making sure the nano stick was inside. "Am I sure that I want to do this?" Layla said, speaking to herself. "Everything that I'm going to do is against the protocol, and if I get caught, I don't even think my mother can pull me out of this one." Right now, she stood outside the third floor of the boys' dormitory area, also known as the VIP area for the male students. As she took a step forward, she quickly turned and started walking back, and then, after 2 steps, she stopped again. "I have to. If it wasn't for them, Quinn and everyone would have died back there, and if I don't, who knows what will happen to Quinn?" She shook her head violently and then once again headed back to the VIP area. Once she had entered, she made sure to check the halls. She also checked the other rooms and areas to see if anyone was out and about. Although it was early morning and most students wouldn't be up by now, she still needed to make sure. After placing the white envelope on the floor just outside one of the doors, she stepped back towards the exit of the hallway right by the staircase. No turning back now. Using her ability, she pushed the envelope underneath the door and it was now on the other side. After that, she quickly ran down the stairs heading back to her room. So far, for everyone, it had been a normal day. They ate their morning food as usual and then went to their morning homeroom classes. It was now lunchtime, which was usually just before combat classes, and at that moment, while Vorden, Quinn, and Peter were outside, Quinn had received a ping on his watch. Ding! "A voice message?" Quinn said. "First, you are listening to this message. Make sure that no one not worthy of your trust is around you. I'll give you a few seconds to decide and do something about it before I continue," Logan said. Quinn looked around, and the boys were outside on a bench. Vorden and Peter then huddled around Quinn to hear the message better, and also made sure no one came close, and if someone did, then they would quickly stop the message. "Good," the message said as it continued to play. "I received some interesting information, and it concerns Peter and your little problem. I suggest you gather everyone that knows about what Peter is and bring them to my room, because we are going to need everyone's help on this to get out of this mess. Oh, and if you could bring me a sandwich from one of the vending machines, that would be good. You don't have to do this, of course, but it will do good for my brain power and help me think better." Although the tone of the message didn't sound very urgent, Quinn knew that if Logan was initiating contact with him and was asking to bring everyone into his room, it was a big deal. Logan didn't like people coming into his room in the first place. Logan was afraid that people may steal his ideas for his new future inventions, or even destroy whatever he was working on. So Quinn knew that this was a big deal. "You heard him, guys. You inform the girls and bring them to Logan's room," Quinn said, looking at Vorden. "Peter, it might be best if you go with him." "What are you going to do, sir?" Peter asked. "I need to get that sandwich," Quinn replied. The group had split up and Vorden and Peter went to get the 2 girls. However, Quinn didn't just do that so he could get a sandwich. He was going to look for Vex. With his nose, it wouldn't be difficult to find him, and he knew that if he informed Vorden about this, he would be against it. But if it was something to do with Peter, he was sure Vex would help out.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.